it, it's agreement. Ignoring in dogs is agreement, tolerance. That, so right there. Now wait, I want you to look at his body posture. There, that's a better place for him to go. Did you see him just change his own mind? Because
Yeah.
I got closer and he's like, you know, good boy, that's better. Good boy, me, that's better. Don't let him stare. That's right. That's right.
Yay.
So
Okay.
Jane, if you have any chance with him, the attention is what you need first, because it's something you can work on constructively to get. And it's a place where you have some work to do. Good. Okay. So, on his down restraint, if you put your hand on his hip and will pull his hip towards you, will he just let you do that? Okay, let's do that. Shorten your lead, because I don't want him to get up. Now wait there, wait there, wait there. Okay, now you can work on the shoulder if you want to. And if you pull, can you pull the shoulder down?
Yep.
Now you have to have, so with your hand out here, your right hand out here in front of you, it's not helping you in any way whatsoever. The right hand needs to hold the leash and maybe even the collar and be on his shoulder. So right hand, this hand, the right hand on the shoulder. No, around behind his neck. Yeah, there you go. And then the left hand controls the hip rib. There you go. Now the more behind him that you are, the more leverage you possibly have. So if you can creep around behind him without him getting up, do that. There. Now wait there. Not good boy. He's not being a good boy. He's being a tense boy. He's not good.
Ooh.
He loves me.
Yeah, he's like, she's behind me. Let me see how I can,
Now wait. Push here when he starts that. So just wait. Just wait. Don't do a bunch of things. Just wait. Now, if you can take this hand, put his head on the ground. Just put his head, now, not forcefully, leave it. You gave him the idea. Now take it off. Take this hand off. Now put it back on and put his head down. Now take it off. You gave him the suggestion. Do it again. Now take it off. There. See what I mean about making him responsible, Jane? I don't do stuff for my dogs. I say, I'd like you to do this, and if they don't comply, I tell them again, this is what I was expecting. In early days of it, I don't punish. I just don't do that. But I do persist until they stay in the body position I want. Trust means that he stays in the body position you tell him to, even if he's a little uneasy, okay? And if he cannot do that, ergo, he doesn't trust you. I know these are old-fashioned words, and the learning theory people hate words like that when I use status, respect, and trust, but I still believe that those are valid words in a relationship with my dog. That's right. And don't hold him. Don't hold him. Don't be responsible for him. You make him stand up and do his own work. And all you do is babysit him. If you're a helicopter mother, you know those mothers that do everything for their children, and then their children are entitled little brats that can't cope. That's right. Now, I'm going to put my hand on your hand, and he will know immediately. As in there. This is how I start getting people used to touching my dog. Because you're in a pretty good position to protect me, right? You are. And I trust you, or I wouldn't be down here. Here, press, and press on his shoulder with your right hand. If you keep letting him get ahead of you physically, you'll never get ahead of him, because he thinks he's outsmarting you. Hey, tell him no.
No.
Don't get too wicked. Stop it. Now hold. Just wait. Hold. There you go. When he gets defensive, you have to just wait there. You don't back off, but don't keep going in, because that doesn't give him a chance to think. It just pushes him into more defense. Does that make sense? Let me move your arm. You're very rigid. There you go. That's right. That's right. Hey. Do what you need to do to get
Knock it
control.
off.
Beamer, can it, buddy?
Yeah.
No, just hold. Just wait.
Feel the sets, but yeah, it
That's a girl. Good job. Now just tell Good.
Good.
That's enough.
But it is when he's after he's been working.
There we go. He gets a little too much for very little effort, eh? We tend to get into that mode with our competition dogs because we want something from them. Okay, now, I'm gonna move,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're gonna take your hands off and just kind of sit back and get your leash, and I want him to turn towards you politely and lay down, and then I can have a treat. Okay, so take your hands off, get your leash. Tell him, good boy.
Good
And he
boy.
can have a treat. Now lie down, he has to lie down.
Lie down.
I don't like him up looking at your face like that. It makes me mad.
Wait.
Down.
Finish.
He doesn't get a treat now because he screwed it up, okay? That's okay. Don't be too picky.
I just wanted to get the leash
I
out from
know.
under his
Well,
legs.
make him a little miserable with it. Tighten it up and make his arm uncomfortable. Don't babysit. Lie down. Tell him lie down.
Lie down.
Okay, that's enough. You didn't have to pull on him. You didn't have to pull on him. That, to me, was using too much force. I really calibrate. Now there, stand up. And he better stay in the down. Because then, down.
Down.
Because as soon as you're nice to him, he starts trying to invade your space. Can you see that for what it is? Okay. That's what you have to go home and
And
watch.
the paw thing is
Why is he
that.
invading your space? Did you ask him to do that?
Nope.
Okay. Then he's got no business invading your space without your permission. To this dog, that means something really different than it means to a lot of other dogs. He's very insecure, and yet he wants you to take care of him. But at first, when you start to take care of him, he's going to say, "No, I've got it," just like a nasty little teenager. No, stop cooing at him. He's being marginal. You can call him marginal boy.
Marginal.
Yes, marginal boy. Why is he not looking at you? See, that's the kind of thing, I'm not gonna coach you on that anymore this session. You need to pay attention to it, because I've gotta be able to hand that to you. Right there, why is he not looking? There, then release. So this is where pressure is really hard for me to teach people. He looked, so Kathy's looking, I need to release it. When Kathy looks, so look, and I keep doing here, there was no feedback there. There was no feedback. She's like, should I look? Should I not look? What should I do? So if I'm here, look away, she looks, I have to acknowledge that she looked. And then I have to try to keep a hold of it. So she looks away again, I move back in and escalate until I get what I want, and then I release again.
So now, should she have hit him in the head?
It's early days with that.
Yeah.
I think you have to be very careful with what you're doing, because I don't want him to hate everybody.
So it's only with the growling and the, yeah.
Well, it's even more subtle than that. I just needed it to stop a little bit, so I did a stopgap measure so I could train today. I need to work on this piece of it. I can't concentrate on punishing everything he does
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
So, right there, he's looking away. And it's you not letting him. To me, that's the first place you need to go. And release. He's looking. He's looking. There you go. There you go. It's getting into that feel of putting a pressure on and removing a pressure. And this is hard work because it's horse training. And so
Constant.
Now
a
release.
little. Release. There you go. So it's really hard if you're not used to this kind of, that's stunning. It's hard when you're not used to this kind of conversation. Okay? And why did you go in there? There was no reason to go in unless you want him to move. So if you want him to move, so walk in then. So walk until he gets up. Keep moving until he gets up. Now, from in front of him. Yeah. Put your feet right between his front legs. There you go. There. Now release it a little. Nice. You don't have to give that a cookie. The conversation was enough. Expecting one, a little shit, but you don't have to do that. And see, he looked at me, but now it's just a glance. He's not fixing on me, and now look, you're moving him right into me, and he's not being stupid. That's right. Now back up. And have him go front. Front.
French.
Look how close you are. He's not being stupid, right? Hey, you can have a treat, and he can go to his crate, or the car, or whatever, but he needs to now. So after I work them like this, I want them to be in their crate about a 30-minute time frame. That's right, Jane. Good. Okay, so, to whoever her regular instructors, helpers are. She needs to get a little more knee-jerk reaction with keeping that attention. And I don't feel like there can be advancement until then. And then the other thing I'd be doing is impulse control work, like I'm flipping Mad Dog. I want to be able to put more pressure on him without him having to turn away. Okay, so what I was telling your sister and your teacher, you need a little time to build your awareness there. I get that. But it needs to be a quick learning curve. You need to step up to the plate on saying, oh, he's looking away, why is he looking? Get back here. So when I have a dog, if they're just doing this, that's pretty casual. He never did any casual scanning.
Oh, yeah, no.
No, he immediately alerts and targets. As soon as he does that, he's making neurobiological changes and he's headed down the wrong road. And the longer you let him sit there, the more he's practicing that behavior. So it's just like we don't want to practice a bad front. I don't want him practicing targeting at all. That's a bad place for him to go. And you do a good job with him. Stay calm with him. Don't cause him to go into more defense, because more force will often create more defense. And now I'm having a conversation I didn't even really want to get into. But it does start with space. He's very casual about your space. He's casual, like notice how we're standing here talking and I'm giving you some space. It would be just like if I was going, hi, Jane. Okay? He's pretty casual with your space. If he is a different kind of dog, you can maybe get away with it. Although I don't think anybody fully gets away with it. It's just that the price they're paying is negligible. The price you will pay with him isn't negligible. Because he goes somewhere in his head that is not a good place to go. He goes into a dark, scary cave, and then he gets stuck there. So it's paying attention to that. So you keep up your body work and stuff. The next place that I would take this is impulse control. You have to have really good impulse control, but I want you to start establishing a space around you, and he comes in if you invite him. That whole laying in front of you and starting to put his feet on you, not good. Not with him. You know, if my pools do that to me, it's harmless. I get less respect, but I don't do anything with them anyway, so it doesn't matter. They're just functionally pets. Now, if I want to get them up and work them, I could. And I would change a few of those interactions if I were going to start working them. Okay. It's hard for us, when we've raised a puppy, to not let those lines blur a little bit, because we got the dog for companionship, and we bought a friend. We bought them to do the unconditional love thing, although I don't think that exists. That's just me. But with a dog of his temperament, you can't do that. Because he's not what I would call cautious submissive. So a cautious submissive dog is like, whoa, the world's scary. And I say, let me help you. And they're like, oh, thanks. Okay? The cautious dominant dog is like, oh my God, the world's scary. I'm going to handle it. And you're like, let me help you. And they're like, no. That's what he does. That's one of the most difficult kinds of animals to work with. It is. And it's that reason. So unless he totally respects what you say and that you have the right, totally positive people call it relevant, But I prefer to call it what I think it is, which is he doesn't think you're in charge, and he doesn't trust you to be in charge. Unless you make certain moves, he can't believe those things to be true. And that's hard to hear. So I recognize how hard that is to hear, because we raise our dogs and we give them our heart and soul, and we're like, well, how could he not trust me? But they're dogs. They actually aren't people. And so you can totally reverse this whole thing. What I can't do is take away his fear. I think that's genetic. And I think that came in the box. But you can change his outer behavior a great deal. And if you can get charge of him so that when he's cautious, you can say, what the hell are you doing? I haven't. He's like, oh, thank God, Jane. And he did it for you a couple times, didn't he? He did it. So it's in there. Okay? You just have to. So what we started today was like, what I tell everybody is when you start a new behavior, it's like a little flame in a hurricane. And it's really easy to lose it. So you got to take that little flame in the hurricane and you have to protect it and nurture it and feed it little twigs until it's a bonfire that would be hard to put out. And behavior can do that, and you can totally do this with him. You've got a good handle with yourself. You're a good hand on a dog. You've got some good experience behind you. You've just not encountered this before.
Right.
And the first time anybody encounters this, it gobsmacks you. Because it's not what we have been led to believe the dogs are or do. And they scare us when they growl at somebody and we think they might follow through with it. It scares the living crap out of us. Because we don't want anybody to be alive. Right. So I understand those things. Okay, that wasn't too hard on you.
No.
So he doesn't trust her